As a business, I just do not understand the WNBA. Let's talk some numbers. I mean, this is the Profit Express after all. If your sales are up 359% from 2019 to 2026, if your media revenue is up 333%, if viewership is up 202%, and merchandise is up 600%, why would you kill the golden goose? I don't get it. It makes absolutely no sense to me. So why the hell is the WNBA allowing Caitlin Clark to get her ass kicked on a regular basis? Again, makes no sense to me. She clearly, from my understanding, and I'm not a sports analyst, I don't follow the WNBA, other than the fact that from a business perspective, I found it quite interesting recently. And that's why I want to tackle it today on the Profit Express. But if you have somebody who clearly from about 2024 has helped the league experience and enjoy meteoric rises in some of the numbers I just shared with you, why is she being assaulted on a daily, weekly basis and nothing's really being done? That to me is very, very interesting. Now, again, I'm not the sports expert. So I have what I would like to call a very special guest on today to talk about the saga that is the WNBA, how Caitlin's getting abused, how we're having questionable officiating, to say the least, and also the quality of the product on the court. Not that good. So I've invited a longtime friend and a former engineer of the Profit Express, Sam Eliacin, who's more importantly, he is the host of a terrific sports podcast called Sam I Analyze. If you don't follow him, I certainly suggest you do. His content is great. It's sports of all facets. Obviously, he focuses on the Knicks. He's a great NBA mind, a great NBA analyst, if you will. And he also dabbles and talks. Well, no, more than dabbles. I'm sorry. He more than dabbles. He talks about my Jets, our Jets. And we've lamented over the years as to just how awful they are. But more importantly, he's here to help me kind of make sense of what is the WNBA from the business perspective and from the sports perspective. So it is great to see you again. How are you today, sir?
Great. Yourself?
Excellent, excellent. Now listen, you know my knowledge of sports. It's I'm good with the Jets. Okay, congratulations to your Knicks, by the way. Unfortunately, I'm not a basketball fan, but what a season you had. My son, who's a fan of yours, loved following your commentary all season long with the Knicks. So I thank you there. Some great content on Sam I Analyze.
Thank you.
So in looking at the WNBA, I said I got to have Sam on to give me a professional perspective on what this product is, what's happening to the league, and try and make some sense of it. So let's dive in. And I think the first question I want to ask is I've seen highlights of the WNBA on Instagram, wherever online. And to a casual observer, they're laughable. I mean, missed layups. I mean, just throwing up bricks. I mean, horrible looking product. What are you seeing as somebody who actually knows basketball?
I agree with you. I think I'll tell you what, I think the WNBA is is very lucky that they looked into Caitlin Clark 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Because I think when you look at the WNBA
Mhm.
historically, and they're approaching what, 30 years next year
Yeah,
in existence?
1996. Yeah.
96, 97, depending on who you ask, right? But it's been the product until recently has been laughable, right? And
Mhm.
they have had some greats, whether it's Diana Taurasi,
Mhm.
Maya Moore, now you have Asia Wilson and then now Caitlin Clark. You've Cynthia Cooper. You've had some greats But the league was not profitable until recently.
Mhm.
And there's a lot, unfortunately. I call Caitlin Clark the golden goose. And I feel that the ladies of the WNBA don't recognize and should be very grateful for one Caitlin Clark. Because I equate it to Michael Jordan years ago. I'm not saying Caitlin is Michael Jordan now, but the
Right.
Michael Jordan effect, and and before him, Magic and Larry, you needed a face, and
Mhm.
the players that put the fans in the seats. Clearly, that's what Caitlin Clark is doing for this league. Now, I had to hold my laughter there when you mentioned missed layups. Um, when you look at the quote unquote nemesis of Caitlin Clark, which is one Angel Reese. They tried to.
She's the one who I'm seeing all those horrible, highlight clips from.
Right, you're talking about I wanna say this weekend where she had a chance to score a layup to either I think it was to win or tie the game. I think it would have won the game actually, and she
Right.
just missed those layups.
Right, right.
And their comparisons to, they try to market, the Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. And I don't think it's fair to either player because I think, and despite the fact that in her own right, I mean, Angel Reese is an all-star talent for the WNBA, but I mean, she's a double-double per se, a person, but the star power,
Mhm,
I don't
mhm.
think people are lining up to go see, respectfully, Angel Reese. I mean, and whether it's Asia Wilson, who's a two-time multiple MVPs,
Mhm.
champion, and all, I think that these women of the WNBA have to be more grateful and understand what she's brought to the table. I feel that Caitlin Clark gets a lot of hate. I mean, it's not even a think, it's a fact. She's getting beat up, the refs allow it, and I think, and back in the day, there was something called the Jordan rules, and, teams, they played him very physically, but the refs understood, this is the money, this is the guy who brings the fans to the seats, and I don't know if they will ever understand it and give Caitlin. I mean, there might be a 30 for 30 years from now. With these young
Mm.
ladies, maybe they'll realize and speak about how foolish they were for not understanding what they had. But this is a league that clearly was not profitable. As a matter of fact, you they say that the NBA was pretty much holding the league up together to
Sure.
the point where the New York Liberty, they were owned by the Knicks, Mr. James Dolan. I always call him Mr. James Dolan. I used to work for him, so it's force of habit. But but it is, this is a league that was not profitable, and he ended up selling them to the Nets. I believe it's Joe Tsai who owns them now, and he sold them to the husband and wife who own the Nets,
Mhm.
and that's why the New York Liberty are still in they're in Brooklyn, but that's why they're no longer playing at the Garden. So, and a lot
I
of
didn't I
teams,
didn't even
they
I
will
didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. So Dolan had him, he sells them, they don't play in the Garden, now they're playing, obviously, over
in
with the
Brooklyn,
Nets in Brooklyn. Right,
right?
okay. Wait, now, so Sam, let's go back for a second. So there was a point with the in the NBA when the NBA was having ratings problems and the whole Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, you know, saga, if you will, helped breathe life into it. Of course, Jordan breathed life into it. So is it that that's what the WNBA is trying to replicate with Caitlin Clark? I mean, that's looks like what they're trying to do, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
Well, you always need I guess you're always going to want that kind of the debate on who's better, who's the you know uh Larry versus Magic versus Larry. The difference to me is that they are Caitlin Clark is so much better than Angel Reese. It's not even close talent wise. they try they try to make it because of their beef and their problems from back in college, back when Reese played for LSU and
Mhm.
Caitlin Clark played for Iowa. They had their little disagreements or whatever. It was competitive, but honestly, Angel Reese is a center slash forward, and Caitlin Clark is a guard, and is it. Caitlin Clark is to me, I would say she's the Steph Curry of the WNBA,
Mhm. Right,
right?
right.
And I would say I don't even know who you can compare Angel Reese to. Honestly, maybe Rodman, and that may not even be doing a good, a justice to Rodman because Rodman was, all world, player. But
Right.
it's not fair. In all honesty, I don't think it's fair to Angel Reese. I don't think she doesn't put fans in the seats. I think Caitlin Clark is an all-world superstar to the point where teams are had as of when she first got into the league last year, they had to move games to larger venues. That's never been done. That's never been seen before. You
Right.
know, I heard the WNBA was, and they still struggle when at until last year, where they say they would just show you the lower bowl and not show you the empty seats
Right.
in the arenas. So I mean, this is, again, they're making more money now. They're more profitable, and I think the new collective bargaining agreement or the TV deal is for 2.2 billion. I believe it was
It's
something
over,
to
but
that.
yes, over 7 years, I think, or 11 years.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and it's like, why would you? I mean, they and some of the fouls against her, and now her teammate, what's Sophie
Sophie
Cunningham?
Cunningham. Yeah.
Cunningham, right. I mean, they're beating these young ladies up, and Sophie Cunningham is a great teammate, right? I mean, she's always like, fighting for Caitlin or what have you, and whatever. But I mean, these two are always getting the brunt of it. But I just feel that the WNBA, the ladies of the WNBA have to understand what they have in one Caitlin Clark and stop beating her up because you're making money because of her.
So let me ask you this then. So she enters the league in 2024,
Mhm.
and Asia Wilson, and again, I can't go deep on any of the players. I don't know the NBA, so I just want to make that clear. Certainly, so there's
Right,
obviously some very talented players in the league. Okay,
right,
um, before Caitlin Clark arrived, that are currently, and forget about the ones Tarasi and the ones who helped build the league, etc. So,
mhm.
from your perspective, w- what impact did Caitlin have when she entered that blew everything up? What was it that she had that all of a sudden people were interested? They were talking about the WNBA back in 2024.
So, for me, when it comes to Caitlin Clark, I feel that I try to, she has first of all, she has the it factor, her game, the ability to, uh, she she kind of models her game, I believe, if you ask her after a Steph Curry-esque,
Hmm.
and she can shoot from the logo, and I mean, it's exciting, right? A lot of people like that, to the point where Sabrina Nescu of the Liberty, I think it was 2 years ago, she was in the All-Star game. She was a player who kind of, shoots to that extent, but not to the distance that, that Caitlin has. But
Hmm.
she shot against Steph Curry in the three-point shootout, and a lot of people wanted to see Caitlin Clark versus Steph Curry. Maybe we see that this year. But her game, the ability to take players off the dribble, and take players off the dribble and shoot from distance, it's
Right.
exciting. It's something that's never been done or seen in the WNBA, and fans are like, wow, we have quote unquote female version of a Steph Curry, who is an all time the greatest shooter the NBA has ever seen. So I think that's what has her, the game that she plays has attracted a lot of fans and continues to attract a lot of fans. That's why the seats are being filled.
So her ability and her style of play is really what kinda launched her, and it was what's getting the eyeballs, getting the attention, etcetera. Okay. So
Yes,
we have
yes,
this, and like I said in the beginning, with those crazy numbers of growth, 359% revenue, 600% merchandise growth, why the hell would you kill the golden goose? Okay, so as is the Prophet Express, the business owner, that's how I'm looking at this. I just shake my head. Now, again, we all know controversy sells, sex sells, and all of that, but there has to be a balance.
right.
Do you feel that they're using sexuality, race as part of, their approach to getting
I
eyeballs?
I think to some degree,
Right.
I mean, you look at the Angel Reese. Obviously, she's bigger than her, and Angel Reese does not do herself any doesn't bring. I mean, nobody feels sorry for Angel Reese because of some of the way she acts, and you saw I want to say the young lady's name who fouled Sophie Cunningham,
Oh, was it
Deja May.
Harrington?
Uh, yeah,
Something?
yeah. I look, and I call when those players who play dirty. I put
Mhm.
Wendy under that category. I call them knuckleheads.
Right.
So knuckleheads. But they, that I believe that when you play a sport, it's a brotherhood, it's a sisterhood.
Mhm.
Everyone has to be able to get home to their families healthy, right?
Right,
And
right.
some of these injuries, I mean, to hack her, the way she did was uncalled for. That I'm talking about the Cunningham foul.
Yeah.
But Caitlyn has been, they've been. I think it's more jealousy, honestly. I don't know if it's. I don't know if I don't know if race plays a role in this or anything like that. But I think that there's just a jealousy, because people are like, "Well, I was here too. We were here before her. Like, let's stop. Let's not act like, the league was not doing well before us." And the Asia Wilsons of the world, who was a multi MVP, Diana Taurasi, they left her off the world team for the Olympics. That's how jealous, they got. And I'm like, I get it. The league is going to be 30 years old. If
Mhm.
not, I think it is 30 years old. I don't remember, a 96, 97, but it's approaching 30 years. And the league did not have the success despite all the superstars that it had before. You can't, and jealousy just happens. I mean, you saw it in the Jordan years. You saw players were upset, and they, but she's the superstar. Unfortunately, I
So
mean, yeah.
alright. So you have the jealousy, like they tried to act like they were more impactful than they really were before Caitlin Clark comes on the scene.
Mhm.
There's the whole sexuality, the transgender conversation now that they try to loop Sophie Cunningham into, and even again, I forgot the name of the player who gave her that foul about a week ago. They clotheslined Cunningham. And she went back to the locker room, and I don't know if it was on X or whatever it was, and she said, what was it, white privilege? She made
Mhm.
that comment. So yeah, I don't
So
know.
I'm looking it up. Dejanay Carrington.
Carrington. Okay, Carrington. So
Correct.
she goes back. She gets ejected. It was a flagrant two. She gets ejected.
Mhm.
She's in the locker room, and then shortly thereafter, she's saying, "Hey, white privilege." Yeah, at
That
the
was an
Indiana
awful
Fever.
take. That was a trash take. I saw that. I thought that was a trash take. I think that, look, you know, if she was getting fouled like that, forget it, right? So, and you can't foul a player, and I call it defenseless, right? When you're
Yeah.
going up for a layup like that, you can't do that. there was malice intent, and it was just why. And that was just and it's just I mean, and I don't know if and this is I have to be careful here, but I don't know, is this something that I don't see it in the men's game like that, right? You see
Mhm.
the physicality, but
Mhm.
you don't see them throwing those terms out. I don't know if it's these women are always bickering. I don't know. And again, I have to be very careful. But I'm just looking at it since Caitlin Clark got here. There's no the jealous the there's just a jealousy amongst them,
Mhm.
amongst these
Mhm.
women, and it's why not understand it's a sisterhood, like it's a brotherhood, like we at the end of the day we all make money together. We should be happy that we're making the I think some of these players now, like Adrian Wilson, signed a 4-year $5 million deal or something, and these women now, some of them are making millions as a result of this new CBA. And obviously because Caitlin
Mhm.
Clark
Mhm.
came in right in time, right on
Right.
time before the new CBA was expiring. And they're not, "Oh, well, we were here." They're upset that she's getting all the credit. They left her off the Olympics team. They're just stubborn. They don't see what they have.
Now, what about yeah, and from the coach's perspective, I think the Indiana Fever coach, her name is Stephanie White. And
Yes.
after the Sophie Cunningham foul, where Cunningham gets laid out with a clothesline from Carrington, whatever that her player's name was,
Mhm.
and in the press conference, you hear Stephanie White, again, the coach of the Indiana Fever, basically defending. Was it Carrington?
Yeah,
Is
that's
the name Sam?
Harrington, yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
basically, really defend. Well, she's an aggressive player. I don't think she had malice. She's just a tough player. It was basically defense of that. So, what are you doing to the fan base of Indiana when you have, again, Sophie Cunningham is not Caitlin Clark, but she's certainly one of the most popular players on the team as well. And,
Right.
what does it telling the fans?
Well, I think, there's, I think in defense of the coach, I think she was caught off guard.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I know she said she didn't see it until the replay. And sometimes, there's so much going on. She might have seen it, thinking about the other play, and it might have caught her off guard. But that was a bad take. You always have to protect your team, your players,
Yeah.
rather. And I think Sophie Cunningham, basically, you know, looked at it as water under the bridge, and
Mhm,
and she knows
mhm,
that's her coach, what have you. But yeah, I think she was trying to defend the WNBA product to some degree.
mhm,
But no, that was a bad take. I will tell you this though, and you spoke about it in passing. Well, there's a thing going on with the WNBA with the sexuality thing that I think is more, to me, more of an quietly an issue than not, and that's the fact that Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark, it's not a secret that the WNBA is predominantly, they're not heterosexual. They're
yeah,
and people call it gay league, and you see that not only that Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, I believe, yeah, they're both heterosexual and whatever,
mhm.
and that I'm seeing that is driving a lot of problems in the league. I think that might be also an issue. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I've seen that also as a thing. And these two are, they're catching the brunt of it, you know?
So you're thinking then the sexuality of the league in general, again, I don't know if it's the majority, what the numbers are, I can't speak on that, but it's
Right.
obviously present in the league. To what extent, the numbers I don't
Mhm.
know. Your sense and what you're seeing, that's kinda driving a lot of the undertones of how, whether it's jealousy, whether it's just
I think to some degree you can't deny it. And one thing that made me think of that was when I was
Mhm,
watching the ESPYs a few weeks ago.
mhm,
The host, who escapes me, he made a joke about the fact that the WNBA was all, lesbians and whatever, and it was like everybody was kind of like, it was like a cringy moment because he was like, "Oh, too early," or "I shouldn't have said it," or I mean, he and you if you can go back and say it, but I mean, he made the joke, and they've got to. I mean, and it could play a role, and the WNBA can't say it's not about the sexuality thing is not an issue because
Mhm, mhm.
look what's going on as of 2 weeks ago. You've got men disrespecting your league and Ennis Cantor and Royce White, all former NBA players who've declared for the 2027 NBA draft.
Right,
I mean, if that's not disrespect, I don't know what is.
right, right.
Clearly, clearly, he's n
Well,
there's something going on there.
is it yeah, well, because well, now, I mean, man, we could go down quite the rabbit hole. They're having to defend or define not defend rather, I'm sorry, but define what is a woman. And, is it, Ennis Cantor's way of, making a complete mockery of the league? I don't know, but it's very interesting, and now it's something that they're gonna have to address. What is the latest on that? Would you know by chance, where the league
So
stands?
so the WNBA, they recently met, and they're going to continue to have conversations on this matter,
Mm.
which means basically they're afraid to address this issue. And I mean, I think they're going to be in a lot of problems if they allow this. There's also a French player right now playing in
Oh, yeah.
France.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, this uh Julie Tatar,
Yeah.
um, averaging 21.2 points a game, and 20 rebounds. And during the most recent season in the in for Monaco basketball, the Monaco Basketball Association.
Mhm.
I mean, look, this is it's almost like saying, and I equate it to this. Would we, and I don't know who the fighters are right now, but they would never allow for Mike Tyson to fight, a fighter, a woman fighter, the best
Mhm,
woman's
mhm,
fighter. Let's say Layla Ali in her prime. That
mhm.
would never happen.
Right.
I don't. I think the WNBA, when it's all said and done, my take is they're going to find a way not to allow that to happen.
Well, if
I
you
mean, it's
saw that
just.
that French player,
I mean,
sh
the guy looks like he bench. He looks. It's not even. Doesn't even make
yeah,
sense.
I mean, he's like a bodybuilder physique.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not
Right.
even close.
Right.
See, to me, and that's why it's just like the WNBA, and this is because I said, and I just want to make it clear, I don't know more than the average American who's started to look into it just because of, the hype. And, then I obviously started to I'm like, "Hey, I wanna talk about this. This is interesting. You have a business, you have a professional sports league, okay,
Mhm.
that's been around for 30 years, okay, wasn't wildly popular for a very long time, let's face it. Again, I'm not saying the talent wasn't there, the talent's there, okay, but it wasn't popular, didn't, wasn't profitable, wasn't really that popular, wasn't filling seats, didn't get eyeballs, and at the end of the day, you know, that's where you have the business, or you don't have the business.
Mhm.
So things start to turn around. Caitlin comes on the scene, and we know the rest of the story as we shared some of those pretty remarkable stats in the last few years. But then what they're running into, which I think is very interesting, is the issue of the sexuality that you just mentioned. And you have somebody like Enes Cantor. He's declaring for the WNBA draft. Now they're in a real pickle. What the hell are they going to do? They got to address it. They can't. Where they think it's just going to sweep it under the carpet. It's not going to work. So now, when they have the chance to be maybe creating a better product, or at least capitalizing on the momentum and the energy and the enthusiasm and the popularity, which it certainly has,
Mhm.
is the race and is the sexuality taking the eyes off of what really matters into nonsense? I don't know. I mean, I
I
my
I
son, Sam, Magnus and I were at Dick's over the weekend,
Mhm.
and he wanted to get some jet skier. And I said, "Don't waste your money," but we'll talk about that later. So he wants to get some Jets gear, right? And my wife, by the way, she bought me the Aaron Rodgers jersey, right?
Oh,
The
wow.
NFL, the $150 one. I said, "Oh my," and then, 4 snaps into it, you know how that went. I said,
Mhm.
"Magnus, don't waste your money." So he asked one of the employees at Dick's, "Where's the Jets gear?" He said, "Oh, second floor, blah, blah." Okay. So he and I
Wow.
go up there,
Mhm.
and I was totally shocked. The amount of WNBA gear, and not just the New York team, which is the Liberty, right? But all of them, Fever, Lynx, blah, 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 was, I kid you not, Sam, 10 times the amount of gear in Dick's for the WNBA than Jets Giants.
Wow. Wow.
Totally shocked.
That's
Man, we're like, what the hell's going on?
doesn't you know what really sells with them? The sneakers. The
Really?
sneakers. The Sabrina Ionescu,
Mhm.
and I didn't know this until recently, like, men buy their sneakers. I heard Josh Hart of the New York Knicks on his podcast speaking about, they have sneakers and they make them in men's sizes, so the women's player sneakers sell like the men's sneakers, so I was very surprised
Really?
about that. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
I
think
was
more but I don't really think see, and I heard this said before, like, sometimes, like, I'll watch tennis. I'll watch, the women play tennis
Mhm,
and the men play tennis, and
mhm.
it seems like there's a clear difference there. I feel like, and I have to be careful here, but I've been so the WNBA, I kind of feel like they're trying to play like the guys sometimes versus when you're watching tennis, like, I can't really, and I have to be careful, but it's just like play your game, but like just some of the I know I've heard that some people just don't want to see their game is not, I guess, fun to watch to a lot of people. And this is coming from somebody who watched their earlier years when nobody was watching. I was a big Cynthia Cooper fan, Rebecca Lobo fan. I was a big what's her name before she hated on Jalen Brunson, the Becky Hammon. I
Mhm,
was a
mhm.
huge Becky Hammon fan. Becky Hammon was a New York Liberty player, so I was a huge Becky Hammon, Teaspoon, Teresa Weatherspoon. I was a huge fan of all of them.
Wait, so Sam,
And
so wait, this is interesting because I don't have the knowledge that you have of the league, 10, 15, 20 years ago. So the quality of the play back then was much better than today's WNBA?
oh, I think so. I mean, I think so.
Really?
I think now, see, I think now the league is everybody wants to shoot the three. I think
Right. Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
thing,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Yep.
I'm of the belief that the players from back in the day were more they had more skills. Now,
Mhm,
Asia Wilson is a great talent, but Diana Taurasi, Maya Moore, Cynthia Cooper, Lisa Leslie.
mhm,
These
mhm.
players to me, they just had more, as they say now, the kids say more to in their bag. Like they just brought more to the table.
Right,
And I mean, look at you can just a few nights ago, Angel Reese can't make a layup. Like,
right,
if that's
right,
Diana
right,
Taurasi, Maya
right.
Moore, I mean, these are real superstars. Diana Taurasi, the Maya Moores, Cynthia Cooper. Now, if you have those players of that ilk against a Caitlin Clark, that's a Magic versus Bird. The talent is there. Like
Mhm,
when you
mhm.
talk about Magic and you talk about Larry, the 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 talent level is equal, right? Like
It was a
Magic,
legitimate rivalry.
exactly.
Right.
Versus now, I mean, you're missing layups. That's not
Yeah,
a
you
superstar.
can't sell that as a rivalry with that with
Right.
that, disparity in
And people
talent.
see it. And people see it, right? People joke about it. Like you can't try to sell this when she missed 2 layups to win the game. So, no, that's not no, you can't do that.
So let me ask you, and again today I'm talking to a longtime friend, former engineer of the Profit Express back in the day, Mr. Sam Eliacin, host of Sam I Analyze, and again, as I said, I'm not trying to be a bandwagon fan of the Knicks. I'm not a basketball fan, but hey, I'm a New Yorker. I followed it. It was a lot of fun to watch, and I loved your coverage of it, by the way. So you did a terrific job. Now, so from your perspective, maybe it's a hard question, who knows? What do you think the future of the WNBA holds?
Well, I think they're profitable right now, and it's a surprise, honestly, that that they're turning in a profit. They don't really tell you the numbers, and you've heard
Right.
for years that the WNBA was being supported by the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
these, and that's why, like I said, Mr. Dolan sold the team because he was tired of losing money. It was called
Yeah.
some people were calling it, and jokingly calling it a welfare league, right? You're not
Mhm.
bringing in profit, but you continue to play. They continue to, spend money, and that was a big deal going into their collective bargaining agreement.
Right.
People were saying, "Look, you're not bringing in profit, but you're saying pay us what we're owed or what we deserve." And people were laughing. People were laughing. Like, have you seen the books?
Right.
And it's they
Right.
got look like what happened in these last 2 years or last year was a shock,
Yeah.
and it jolted the league, like, that's how bad it was where people were saying, "How much longer can the NBA, finance the
Yeah, they're
WNBA?"
bleeding. Yeah, exactly. But
Right,
you so
right.
all right, so this is interesting because obviously the NBA propped them up since the beginning until very recently.
Mhm.
And again, to your point, and I did some research as well, it's profitable technically, but they don't disclose the numbers.
Right, exactly.
So again, technically profitable. We'll give them that. Okay. So they've turned a
Yeah,
corner. So this
mhm.
is in doing some of the research, this is what I found amazing. I think is in 2019, the valuation for the Liberty, they had it about 12 to $14 million for the team in
Mhm.
2019. Fast forward to today, estimate 450 million.
I don't buy it.
I,
I don't know.
that
I don't know.
that
I don't buy it.
that was Forbes research. I'm just saying it caught my attention. It could be Fugazi, but it was I got it from Forbes.
I'll tell you this. So as of I wanna say this is gonna be the 3rd season.
Mhm.
My friends and I, we've been going to Knick games,
Mhm.
here, every year, and the thing is that you've gotta look at the tickets, right? This is where you find the truth, and I remember, I wanna say when the Liberty, when they went to 2 back-to-back finals. The
Mhm.
first final that they went to, I believe you could get a finals ticket for under $100.
Okay.
So, that's not adding up to me, and and like I said, I've never been to one of the games, but I did, sometimes you used to see in the camera, they would see it, and they would never show you the upper bowl.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
would
yeah,
never
yeah,
sh
yeah.
but they
Yep.
they go out of their way to show you the entire arena at Caitlin Clark games, so, we don't know, but obviously, if they showed you the books and showed you everything, it would probably it could affect the margins and the bottom line. So, I hope that wish the WNBA the best, but they have to be better and understand where the
Mhm.
money's coming from, and
Mhm, mhm.
you know, prop up the golden goose. You know,
Yeah, that to me is just like from a common sense perspective, the most alarming thing. I mean, I feel
yes.
bad for her just getting absolutely destroyed out there. I mean, night after night, and the refs just turning a blind eye. It's like, what in the hell are they doing to this poor girl?
You know what I equated to? You
What's
saw
that?
how the NBA is was going out of their way to. I don't know if you had an opportunity to watch any of the finals games, but uh, Wemby is clearly the guy that the NBA is pushing. They
Mhm,
allowed
mhm,
him to
mhm.
do whatever. The refs
Yeah, oh,
were
yeah.
turning a blind eye,
Yep.
and I was like, "Wow, like okay, we get it. This is your golden child. You want to push Wembanyama up to everyone." But, Jalen Brunson, it was David
Mm,
and Goliath, and he's the king of New York. He's
mhm.
you see how, like, the Knicks now, he's the king of New York, he can do no wrong. It's like the WNBA, like, why aren't you saying, "Hey, thank you, Caitlin. We're actually getting money now." And it's like that's like Knick fans saying, "Yeah, Jalen Brunson is cool, but we had Patrick Ewing. We had Carmelo Anthony." Like, "What? What are we doing?"
Right. Right, right. No, that's a great analogy. So, let me ask you this, the product that they have on the court now in the current state that it is, from your perspective, Sam, what should they be selling?
I think they should be selling the game that you watch the Liberty play, Sabrina Ionescu's, the Caitlin Clarks. That's the game that they're trying to. Whenever the Liberty play the Fever, they always market that as a national game and everything like
Mhm,
that. They need to continue to sell that the Steph Curry like game, the quick basketball. I think that that's what's selling right now.
mhm,
But
mhm.
they're doing a disservice to themselves with the Dejanay, the I forget the young lady's name at this point.
Carrington.
The Carrington and the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fouling and the bullying, like,
Yeah,
people don't like that, and the thing is, it's not even a secret, like, everybody sees what's going on.
yeah.
So I think they've just gotta be better about it,
Mhm, mhm.
because they're getting paid now, but you've got to continue to, push the brand and,
Right,
because this is
right.
only 2 years of, the math doesn't add up, right? 30 years, only 2 years of profitability. I mean, come on, ladies. Come on.
Do you think alright, crazy question. Do you think Ennis Cantor gets in?
I think so.
You
I think
no.
that would be a big mistake. Why are we
You
still
wait,
having
wait,
this
Stan, wait,
conversation?
hold on,
Not
hold
you,
on.
but I'm
Wait,
just saying
you think they're gonna let
WNBA.
him in?
So this is what I say.
Go,
I
go.
saw it a few hours ago. I said, "WNBA, we are still having a conversation on this matter? Like, what are we doing here?
No.
How do you come out with a statement that we are still having a conversation on this matter?" I think it's and to the point where actually Caitlyn Jenner also reacted to it and said we need to protect women's sports, right?
Right.
So
Right, right, right.
I mean, this let me see if I can, get a few yeah, the WNBA, they believe that they have to, they're still speaking on it. They because I think the way it's something the way they worded I guess their rules
Mhm.
that it technically can happen, and they really need to take a stance. I don't think anybody would knock them for it. I think it would be more of a joke if they let Enes Kanter and Royce Wright roll into the league,
Well, yeah,
and
I think
Tatar from France.
the way that they have it currently set up, Sam, is to
Mhm.
your point, they would be forced, from what I
Right,
understand, to define what a woman is,
right,
and then thus eliminating Cantor
right.
and the guy Ross or whatever, the other guy, the other 2 guys potentially. So,
Mhm.
their hand would be forced, which is what they're trying to do, which is what Cantor's trying to do. Um, man,
And he's an
they
agitator, by the way.
yeah,
And Enes Kanter is an
yes,
agitator, like, that's why
yes,
he's not in the NBA right now. He's just
right.
a troublemaker, and that's the thing, like, anybody he was a Knick. I liked him as a Knick because he defended his teammates and,
Mhm, mhm,
got in LeBron's face for, defending, Frank Ntilikina when he was a rookie. So
mhm.
he's an agitator. He's doing this tongue in cheek, and he's laughing
Yeah,
the whole way.
right,
And
right,
it's
right.
like and everybody sees it, but it's so, like it's kind of embarrassing to watch the commissioner and all these. Oh, we're still trying to figure it out, and it's like I feel so bad for them because it's like just stand on something and change the rules, like have an
Right.
emergency injunction meeting
Right.
and redefine what this league is going
Right.
to allow and not allow. You can't let this go into next spring. That's ridiculous, honestly.
If this happen and so you think it'll happen. That's your take? You think he'll get in the
I think
league?
if they don't change I think if they don't change their what the rule like what their standards are for what's required, because the thing is,
Right.
I think Ennis Cantor is the kind of player who would sue because
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
what
yeah. He
their
forced their hand.
definition is. The
Yeah.
definition so they have to go in, speak to their law department or whatever, and they need to redefine and stand on it, or you're going to see. And Ennis Cantor is a mammoth of a man.
Oh, yeah.
He's
He's huge.
6'11",
Yeah.
and he was physical against, you know, guys like LeBron. So you're gonna put him against, come on, that's,
Against
you
Caitlin
know, I
Clark.
think yeah, I think they would sell more tickets. I think people would go to the game just to see how comical it would be,
Yeah,
you
but
know?
then it goes, yes, 'cause but it then it turns into a freak show, it turns into a circus. You could sell
Right.
tickets for that.
Mhm.
You could sell tickets for that, but it's not for the
Right.
right reasons. I mean, the whole league would be a mockery at that point if Enes Kanter gets
That's
in.
they have to protect it. They have to protect it. They cannot let Tatar, they cannot let Royce Wright, they can't let these 3
Yeah,
gentlemen get in because it's clear that they're making a mockery
yeah.
of the league, and,
Wow,
and yeah,
wow.
yeah,
It was funny, it was a while ago, I'm thinking, "You know what? Let me just talk about this WNBA just from the business perspective." When you have a winning asset, the golden goose, whose impact is undeniable, and you do almost anything and everything you can to kill that asset, to kill that commodity. It blew my
mhm,
mind. You offered a great commentary to the conversation today, Sam. I really appreciate it. Um, so we're gonna have to, keep our eye on this topic because I would be very interested to see what happens with this Cantor situation. Because I hope they just, like you said, clear up the definitions, clear up the requirements. Don't let them in because they've painted themselves into such a horrible corner. It's not even funny.
right.
It's
It's
ugh,
sad,
ugh,
and it's
ugh.
sad that it's even, in question, that they have to, but they're going to have to do an emergency injunction and change the rules, and they can't allow it. I'll
No,
tell you that.
no.
Whatever he's I just he's clearly bored, than trying to,
He needs
find
something to
something else.
agitate. To Yeah.
Right.
All right. So
Hmm.
Sam, let's do this. The show is Sam I Analyze. People can follow you. What's the handle?
I'm at Sami Analyze on on all social media platforms, and on YouTube, Sami Analyze Sports.
All right, let's have fun for a moment. Okay, let's talk our
Yes,
Jets,
sir.
Sam, as we always do. Give me
Hmm.
some Jets. I'm not a fan of Geno Smith. When I heard that they got him, I
Hmm.
Darren Muji, I thought made some nice moves.
Hmm.
I thought he got some nice picks. I'm excited about a few of the people. Talk me off the ledge. Can you talk me off the ledge for the Jets season this year? What do you got?
I'll tell you this. I'm excited, and I know I say that every year. I'm excited. I'm excited. No, no, no. Here's
Come
why.
on, Sam. Come on.
Here's my mic drop moment. You ready?
Go ahead.
The Knicks won after 53 years. So
Yes.
there's hope. There's hope. There's hope.
Hope, yes. No,
And
I think
and
the Jets can
Muji.
win one eventually, but I'm saying this season.
Oh no, I think it's going to be a great football season. I think it's going to be fun. I
For
don't think it's
who? The
going to be.
Jets?
I think it's going to be a fun watch. I think they're going to be very competitive. Do they make the playoffs? I can't say no, but I just think, I mean, New England, they play with New England. They play in the same division as the Bills, but it's going to be fun. And you know
Sam.
what? Aaron Glenn is coaching for his job. I know it's
Oh,
year
God.
2. So when if you have a guy who's coaching for his job, he's going to be motivated. They're going to be motivated. And there's
S
talent there. Geno Smith is not a bum. He was when he was for his first time around, but
Yeah.
he learned how to play football in Seattle. So
Look at
I like
look at Sam Darnold. Look what all
oh,
right,
see
so
now
wait, hold on.
Peyton.
Yeah, I know. Wait, but hold on a second, Sam. So we have Aaron Glenn, who's a former
Mhm.
Jet, and he was a cornerback, right?
Yes.
Cornerback. So he's a former defensive player, former cornerback, and you have a former Jet, former defensive cornerback, and we don't get a single interception last year. How is that humanly possible, Sam?
I don't know. Oh, we don't yeah, that was I've never seen that, and our quarterback did not throw a touchdown. Yeah, he did not throw, and then, yeah,
It's
he did
killing
not.
me.
We're gonna
S-
be alright, though.
You,
Yes, he was a
you,
cornerback for 15 seasons. Here's the thing, we're gonna be we I like this group. I like the talent. I think they're going to compete, and I think Geno Smith is going to show is going to be a lot better than what we had last year. And just in general. So we'll see. We've got to keep hope alive.
Sam,
We've got to keep hope alive.
you don't get my hopes up. Come on. Don't get my no, all right. So give me a win loss. What do you think?
Ooh, I would have to see the schedule, but in looking, what did we have last year? We were like 3 wins,
3 or 4, I think. I think we were
something like
3.
that, right?
Yeah.
We had the two. We had the second pick, so it wasn't great.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the Jets are gonna be anywhere from 6 to 8 wins.
Oh!
That's what I think. And I'm lowballing them because I really think on both sides of the ball they can be very good, but I've got to see it first, right? I've got to see it
Okay.
first. I can't jump out the window yet. But I really
Okay.
believe that they have talent. They've got talent all around in the tight end room, in the wide receiver room. Geno Smith is solid. The offensive line was very good.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Justin Fields is just that bad. And watch him.
Oh, Justin
Watch
Fields. Oh my God. He was a
and watch and watch Patrick Mahomes have to go. If he has to sit for a minute, watch Justin Fields like play all world. It always happens. It always happens. You leave the Jets and you play well.
well.
You
Sam
know,
Darnold won a Super Bowl last year. I mean, come
he
on,
won
with
a
the
Super
Seahawks.
Bowl. Geno Smith went over to Seattle, became
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
Pro Bowl Pro Bowl
Yeah.
quarterback.
Yeah.
So
And
and
the
it was
season before with Sam Darnold at Minnesota, he had a very he crapped the bed in the playoffs, but he had a very good season
right.
with Minnesota.
Crazy Eyes Gase did not do him any favors as a coach. I thought
Oh,
Sam
that
Darnold
serial
was
killer? Yeah. No, he was awful.
yeah, yeah. And I'll tell you what, I think things are looking up. There's only you can only go up at this point, right?
Well,
So
Sam, listen, I'm telling Magnus, Sam said 6 or 8 wins. Okay. And you and I are going to talk throughout the season. All right.
yes,
I'm going to remind you of this, sir. I hope you are so right. I, I hope we have relevant football and it's Halloween. I would, that to me would be a victory if we had relevant
right.
football on Halloween.
I agree with you.
All
I
right.
agree. I think
Sam,
it's gonna be
it's
fun. Keep hope alive. I think it's gonna be fun.
you're too positive, Sam. I love you, buddy. All right, listen, it's been a great conversation. Seriously, I really I did want to tackle this. I did want to get into it. It's one of those head scratchers from the business perspective. I'm glad we got on. We talked about it, Sam. Thank you so much for being on the Profit Express today, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
You got it.
Have a good night. Thank you.
You got
Appreciate
it,
it.
buddy.
Thank you.
My
All right.
pleasure. And this is the Profit Express. And today we tackled the crazy world of the WNBA. Certainly something you probably weren't anticipating me and the Profit Express to tackle today. But, you know, when you're as messed up as the WNBA is, fortunately, unfortunately, it makes for some good conversation. And that's what we did today. Thanks to my guest, Sam Eliacin. And again, if you don't follow him, if you're a sports fan, he has some great content. Certainly encourage that. And his podcast is Sam I Analyze. Did a great job on the Knicks this season. Until next time, it's the Profit Express.